Bourbon Barkeep, my name is Curtis. Thank you for tuning in to another episode, another new release. For better or worse on the whiskey budget, it's a new release. This one I was a little gun shy on, not gonna lie to you, for a few reasons, mainly due to the finishes of this bourbon. So we're gonna give Google pronunciation all it can handle. See if I can be in Italian for 3.5 seconds. Another reason I was on the fence on this bottle, certainly the price. Doesn't help. We'll get into that in a second. Got an email from the local liquor store. They said, hey, got a lot of new stuff coming in. I'm like, you never sent me this. Let's see what you got behind the counter at this point. Walk in. It's a little disappointing. But out of the kindness of their heart, they thought of me when these new releases came in. And I was kind of backed into a corner. Had a tough time saying no. I was like, I'll do the blood oath. So that could tell you the new releases that came in. When you have hopes and dreams of maybe a Russell's 13 sitting back there, new Bombers and Shanks came out, you're like, yeah, let's do those. Walked away with blood oath. So we're kind of going in, low glass, half empty, if you will. Not big proof hound necessarily. You know, I like kind of that 107, 111, 113 range. They're coming in at body temperature here. So nonetheless, we got whiskey in front of us. Who's to say that this one is another robbery? How bad of a night could we be in for? You know, let's just be grateful for great pours, hopeful great pours. So got some specs on this guy. We got the, 12, 9, and 7-year ride bourbons. I don't know how ride, what that means. They didn't say high rye, but they also didn't say low rye. So we're just going to go smack in the middle of ride bourbons. Now, the 7-year was the one apparently that was double finished in the Montepulciano. It sounds better with the accent. Like it really rolls off the tongue there. And Sangiovese cask. We'll see if those check out. When I was doing Google pronunciation and I kept slowing it down, sooner or later it just said, just don't. But we did it. I'm going to watch this back on editing and be like, that wasn't it. Nonetheless, what else we got? We already talked about the proof a little bit. This is always going to be at body temperature, 98.6 proof. So you got some age, you got some blending. Apparently, these Italian wines are delicious. I'd love to try them. Used to be a big wine guy. But then I started seeing, the we'll just go Sam prices. And I was like, we'll just do whiskey and do it on YouTube. See how that turns out. So here we are. Let's get this guy poured up. Let's see. $130, maybe. Before we dive in, got the Patreon. If you do want to try this, or if this turns out to be really great whiskey, there's Patreon. It's pretty much the only way I can get samples to you all. So you get free samples a couple times, maybe a few times a year, depending on how much you like me, maybe more. And then free Glencarins, they're engraved. Yeah, so you can remember me when you don't remember me, I guess. Is that it? Yeah. Let's get on the nose. That's a lot of fruit. A lot of fruit. Just great berries. All the berries. Blackberry. I'm gonna include black cherry in there. Some raspberry. Maybe even a little plum. I mean, you're talking dark, brooding fruits. Good caramel. Slight vanilla in there. A lot of baking spice. Kind of tingles the nose. Doesn't come off as ethanol-y, which isn't shocking because there's not a lot of alcohol in this. But nonetheless, good baking spice in there. There's a nice earthiness to it, maybe like a nice leather in there, but a fine Italian leather because that's where the cask came from. So obviously it's going to smell like the Italian leather, not the Walmart leather that they flew in from God knows where. But we can narrow it down to not Italy. I gotta be honest with you, this nose is actually pretty delightful. I do enjoy some kind of jamminess in there. I don't know if it's going full jam, but it's definitely great berry, Nice chocolate in there. Desserty, but the leather reins it in. So overall, pretty good balance, actually. Let's get on the palate. Come on, Blood Oath, be here for me. Okay. See you? Then I don't. I tell you what, that front and mid palate is delicious. That plum and blackberry still pull forward. Good chocolate. Oak presence is there. It's pretty good. What I don't have is any type of finish at all. It's okay in the chest. There's whiskey going down the gullet, but the back of the palate, just over that waterfall, it feels like it just got raptured. Like Jesus came back, the trumpets blared right before you were about ready to swallow that guy. And realize how that sounds. Nonetheless, it just never crosses that back boundary. But that front and mid is absolutely delicious. Let's go back for sip 2, see if I can still feel it in my chest, and see if this one gets raptured as well. Cheers. Such a weird experience. It's very good. It is pretty oily, almost syrupy on 80% of your tongue, and then it just doesn't do anything to the back of the palate. It is so bizarre. What's on the front and mid, at least, those fruit notes still continue with this nice plum, blackberry, almost like this Luxardo cherry. So still very fruit forward, but not overly sweet. I think the bourbon peeks through pretty well, and just kind of a hint of kind of that wine aspect in there. I don't know if I could sit there and tell you, it's finished in Italian wine, but it's not overly finished. I'm sure the fruit is coming from the wine, but overall, when you're thinking about your typical wine finishes, let's say Sagamore in their sherry finish, pretty sherry forward, which you want because it's sherry finished. You're like, yeah, let's do that. Angel's Envy will always come to mind. Pretty port heavy, not a bad thing, unless you hate port. So you got to know what you're getting into. But at least here, I think that wine influence does a great job of just influencing it without being over assertive. You know, like the one friend at the bar to where you're like, man, it's the second period in the Lightning game. We're really going to get in a fight at the second period. It's like 8:15. Diving into a couple more of the tasting notes, one of the things that was kind of coming out was there's almost like a nougat, like a nuttiness and a nougat in that chocolate. It is kind of candy bar to where I'm a little more intrigued. Doesn't go as peanut. I'm going to go like more of like a nice walnut in there with a nougat and chocolate and berries. So you're pretty excited for it. On the finish, I do believe the complexity starts to ramp up to where you get this nice kind of leather, oak, baking spice, and good vanilla. Overall, I'm actually pretty impressed. I just wish there was a little bit more of an experience post swallow. So I feel like we all can relate to that. I also know what my demographics are. Spoiler alert, it's 100% male. So if there's a female out there watching it, put it in the comment. Just say, hey, I'm married. So just say, hey. It's a pretty dangerous pour. One that you can sip quite a bit, just slightly drying on the finished piece of it. But that nuttiness still kind of there. Nice tobacco kind of leather, even it out on the finish. I'm actually pretty impressed. Enjoy it. My mind obviously goes to, especially when you're talking wine finishes, how would this pair with a cigar? This would be one where I'm pairing at a lounge, one where I'm not having a high proof pour, maybe 1.5, and then I could still feel safe driving back, maybe after a cup of coffee at the lounge. So I do think that this would go great with a cigar. Unshockingly, most whiskey does, but some of these will pair just a little bit better. I think this one does a pretty good job. It's very approachable. That fruit forwardness, still pretty sweet, but still rounded out to where you're not just way over on the sweet scale. So overall, I think it's actually pretty well done. I do like the Gothic type on it. I just don't know how I feel about Blood Oath. It just seems very, very metal. Yeah. So here we are. But I do like the stamp. Is it over here? The stamp. It's pretty cool. Anyways, census categories. Where are we going to put this guy? I'm all over the place with it. Go to buckets. Don't go to report card. I have a report card guy in the comments all the time. It's not that. So just, you obviously don't get the show type of thing. Our buckets. It's gonna be a 79. I think the proof holds it back. I'm trying to just go with, this is the bottle in front of me. What's the experience like? I'm gonna go 79. Wish it had more of an experience, especially over that $100 mark. But you have some age, some blending, some finishing in there. So I get the more limited price tag on it, which I am a little surprised that this hasn't taken off a little bit more. Maybe it's the wine finishes that they just continue to just shove down our throats. But with it being the one release a year and fairly well priced, if you're looking at Little Book, yes, I enjoy it more. Yes, the proof is there. But ultimately, it's a $160 bottle. The Infinite. Some of these really rare releases that are just one time a year, I'm surprised that people don't gravitate towards this one a little bit more. It seems to be a little more findable and decently priced. Most of the chapters being pretty drinkable. So kind of curious what's holding them back. Maybe it's the metalcore name and wanting to be Blood Brothers. Maybe. And I'll get that. Now, bang for your buck at $130. I'm not paying above it. We can go back to the wooden box. If I could save $15, $20, $30, I would give up the wooden box. But the wooden box is here. $130, decent age on it. The experience a little lacking. I'm going to go 47. Our bar of perfectly priced is probably 50. I have a hard time paying 130 for something that goes away pretty quick. I would like it to hang around a bit more. It's the proof, I am sure. I'm very curious if they were to even put this at 101, what the experience would be, just a tick up. But overall, what is actually in the bottle is actually pretty good this year. So if these tasting notes sound intriguing to you, pull the trigger. I mean, it's a good bottle. It's fair priced for a yearly one-time release that will never be made again. They say it like 8 times on this bottle. Right here in front of me. Never to be made again. Never. So here we are. Let me know your thoughts, whether it's name, experience, or you're out on Blood Oath. I mean, I'm out on Woodford Masters stuff. Just out. I don't care. I don't care what the reviews say. I get it. So you can have those bottles. But for the person that chases Blood Oath, welcome. I don't know if I'll do it yearly, but ultimately, and unless I'm backed into a corner, I may never do it again. But if I'm backed into a corner, this is apparently the bottle that I panic and run with.